Competition between two individuals or two teams is the basis for many forms of sport and recreation. The game of football has been around for a long time and is the most popular sport in our country, with a somewhat fanatical following. Yet, the only way to take part is to join a team, or if you're very lucky, there may be a five-a-side hall near you. But even then, you'll need to find 9 others and make arrangements with them. On the other hand, if you want to play squash, find a partner and book a court. Soccer squash uses technology to create a court game based on soccer. We've set up a prototype in a converted industrial unit. The prototype is capable of portraying most of the envisaged features when the game is played in an actual court. It will be aesthetically improved. An LCD projector is used to project targets onto the target wall. These are generated by computer and can therefore be changed or varied quite simply. As a shot hits the target wall, it is seen by a camera that relays the image back to the computer. The computer then analyzes the image and adjudicates whether a target has been hit or not. The game can be played in various formats. We've found that the most popular is also the simplest. We call this format Spot On. First of all, a red target is randomly projected onto the target wall. The red player takes a shot, and if he's successful, he scores 1 point. As the ball bounces back, the computer randomly projects a blue target. As you can see, the computer not only adjudicates, it also awards the points and shows the scores on the target wall via the projector. Soccer squash can be played just for fun, or it can be taken up by people wanting to improve their fitness. It can also be used to improve footballing skills. Obviously, it provides great shooting practice, and we can make it harder by making the targets smaller. We can also introduce handicapping by making one player's targets smaller than the other. But we also want players to improve their ball control, which is a fundament of football. So we've introduced a time penalty. If a player does not take his shot in a set time, say 2 seconds, the target shrinks. After another set time, it will shrink again, and so on. We can also incorporate the shrinking targets into the handicapping, so that the better player has, say, 2 seconds to make his shot before the target begins to shrink, and the lesser player has, say, 3 seconds. Therefore, the handicapping can be very effective when we combine target size and the time penalty. So players with vastly different skill levels can play together, as can players of different ages and sexes. The computer warns the contestants to be ready. The first few shots, between 4 and 8, are not counted, as the computer randomly starts the game by sounding a whistle. This takes away the advantage of the first shot. The handicapping has been set for this game, and as there is little difference between the two players, Tom is set on 70% and Phil on 75% of full-size target. We've also altered the time element slightly in Phil's favor. He has 2.5 seconds to return the ball, whereas Tom has 2 seconds. Notice the sound when a shot is hit. And a near miss is greeted by a variety of responses.
No, you're doing it all wrong.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
Don't!
When one of them scores 7, the game will be up and the graphics confirms the winner. In this game, Phil, age 20, takes on his younger brother, who is 9, but a very determined 9. So the handicapping, although set against Phil, is not that great. Another format of soccer squash is shootout. Here, the game starts with 6 red targets for the red player to shoot at. The next screen shows the same targets, but now coloured blue. When a player hits a target, it is eliminated and will not show next time his screen comes up. The same with the blue player. The object of this game is to shoot out all your targets before your opponent does. All the handicapping parameters can be changed, as in Spot On. We envisage that shootout will be used for other games, such as a throwing game and a racket game. As you can see, there are presently simple graphics in the targets. These could be changed to show advertising logos, etc. It should be remembered that the advertising industry loves the young people that will predominantly play this game. As you can see, we can also use graphics to create more interesting targets. Now, let us show you a game played in earnest. As you can see, not only is it a vigorous workout, it's not easy, yet it is compellingly competitive. A subtle point is that, as in real soccer, the players have to balance power with accuracy when taking a shot. If a shot is too soft, it will be easy to control when it returns to your opponent, whereas a hard shot will rebound more quickly. Perhaps more skillful players will make their shots spin to make things even more difficult for their opponents. Finally, what of future developments? First of all, we see the handicapping being of prime importance to the success of this game, and therefore we will enlist professional help and set skill levels. For example, skill level 1 will be the easiest, and set for quite young children, whereas the top skill level will be the hardest, and therefore for the best of players. Players will select their own skill level, with the touch of a button located on the court. The computer is capable of assessing a player's performance against his skill level, to suggest he goes on to the next one. Hopefully, players will strive to do this, just as golfers strive to better their handicap. We can also work on more game formats, and one avenue already suggested for this is to use the concept and technology to create a TV game show. In fact, we have worked on a format for this. Also, as computer processing becomes faster, the equipment will be able to cope with squash balls. We estimate this to be possible sometime next year. How will soccer squash be marketed? The obvious way is to install equipment in existing squash clubs, health clubs, and hotels. There is also a market in holiday establishments, as well as institutions such as universities, the armed services, and even prisons. There will also be individuals who would have the facilities to create their own court. We believe there is also a vast market to be tapped by creating multi-court halls. The artist's impression illustrates this. These halls would be run along the lines of 10-pin bowling alleys. All in all, soccer squash provides a commercial opportunity unrivaled in the sport and leisure industry, and as soccer is played around the world, the opportunities are as wide as the world.